At the center of everything, as always, stands Steph Curry. The heartbeat. The gravity. The constant. Night after night, Curry continues to remind the league that his prime is not a memory, it is a present reality. His recent performances have not simply maintained his elite standard, they have elevated it. Against teams like Utah, where matchups can be exploited and spacing can be weaponized, Curry has looked completely in control. Threes rain down with an ease that almost feels disrespectful to defensive schemes. One step of space is all he needs. One hesitation is enough. And suddenly, the scoreboard shifts. Utah may bring size. They may pack the paint. They may attempt to slow the pace. But Golden State has long proven that spacing, ball movement, and tempo can neutralize height and strength. Watching the offense unfold, it becomes obvious that the system thrives when confidence fuels execution. Curry draws attention like no other player in basketball. 2 defenders follow him. Sometimes 3. And in that moment, the Warriors' offense unlocks itself. A quick swing pass. A timely cut. A backdoor layup. Points appear almost instantly. But the challenge, as always, lies in sustaining that focus on the road. Overconfidence has ended many promising runs. And while Utah may be missing key players, they remain dangerous if they find early momentum. A hot start. A few loose possessions. A lapse in transition defense. That is all it takes for a game to shift. Momentum is fragile, and for this Warriors team, managing it has become a recurring theme. Coming off a relatively favorable matchup, Golden State now turns its attention toward Detroit, a team that plays with physicality and pride. This is not a glamorous opponent, but it is a dangerous one. Detroit brings defensive intensity. They bring size. They bring a willingness to turn games into battles. And the presence of Jalen Duren adds a serious challenge inside. One-on-one matchups in the paint will test Draymond Green in ways that go beyond box scores. This is about tone. About toughness. About who controls the emotional tempo of the game. The potential clash between Green and Duren is one to watch closely. It could define the rhythm early. Draymond thrives in these environments. He understands when to push, when to bait, when to disrupt. Experience matters here. Basketball IQ becomes a weapon. And Golden State's veterans know how to manipulate defensive schemes, how to absorb physicality without losing composure. The key will be execution. Avoiding careless turnovers. Preventing fast starts. Looking deeper at the roster, the dynamics become even more intriguing. There have been flashes from Jordan Poole. Moments from Moses Moody. Stretches where young legs inject life into the rotation. But the foundation still rests on the familiar trio. Curry, Green, Klay Thompson. Their presence stabilizes everything. Injuries, rotations, and matchup considerations continue to influence minutes, forcing the coaching staff into constant calculation. Jonathan Kuminga remains one of the most discussed names in this conversation. With Jimmy Butler sidelined, a window has opened. Kuminga now has space to grow, to assert himself, to prove that he belongs not just as an athlete, but as a consistent contributor. This is a defining stretch. His energy on defense. His decisiveness on offense. His ability to stay engaged without forcing the moment. All of it matters. And that leads to a bigger question hovering over Golden State. Are they solidifying what they have, or preparing to reshape it? The trade deadline looms, and with it comes uncertainty. Roster management now becomes strategy, not speculation. Every move carries consequences that ripple into future seasons. Maximizing player value is not just about talent, it is about timing, fit, flexibility. Andre Drummond's name continues to circulate in these discussions. A physically imposing center. A proven rebounder. A presence in the paint. His skill set addresses a clear need. Rebounding. Second chance opportunities. Interior strength. For a team built on spacing and shooting, securing extra possessions becomes invaluable. Curry's perimeter threat becomes even more lethal when the team can reset an offense after a miss. A dominant rebounder changes the math of every possession. Adding a player like Drummond would alleviate pressure on smaller forwards and guards. It would stabilize the paint. It would restore balance. And it would allow Golden State stars to operate within a system that maximizes their strengths without constantly compensating for mismatches inside. Beyond personnel, consistency remains the defining challenge. The Warriors' reliance on three-point shooting is both their greatest weapon and their biggest risk. When shots fall, the game opens up. Leads balloon. Opponents scramble. When shots miss, defensive intensity often suffers. Transition control slips. Games tighten. Watching Curry and Klay fire in rhythm is a reminder of what this team can be. But the supporting cast must complement that firepower with discipline. Smart shot selection. Crisp rotations. Defensive communication. These details determine outcomes. One possession can swing a game. And maintaining balance between aggression and control remains a delicate task for the coaching staff. Everyone must understand their role. Everyone must buy into the system, especially in moments where pressure peaks. Trade speculation continues to fuel debate. Kuminga's name surfaces again and again. Develop or deal? Immediate impact or long-term growth? These are not easy decisions. Contract timelines. Positional versatility. Championship windows. Every factor complicates the equation. Golden State's leadership must commit to a coherent strategy, one that aligns vision with execution. Recent games have highlighted fluctuations in shooting efficiency. Rhythm matters. Timing matters. Curry remains nearly unstoppable. But the supporting cast must refine their approach. Moses Moody. Jordan Poole. Wings and guards who can swing momentum. Their contributions are vital, but inconsistency can be costly. Establishing a reliable scoring identity that leverages strengths without sacrificing cohesion is essential. Defense, too, cannot be overlooked. Draymond Green remains the anchor. His communication, his anticipation, his ability to orchestrate coverage. But defense is collective. Every lapse leads to easy points. Every missed rotation opens space. Golden State's success depends on maintaining that balance between offensive brilliance and defensive discipline. As the season progresses, each game becomes a proving ground. Utah, Detroit, contenders, underdogs, all serve a purpose. Refining chemistry, stress testing rotations, preparing for playoff intensity where execution under pressure defines legacies. The broader narrative is clear. The Warriors are not content with survival. They are positioning for relevance. Injuries, departures, and adjustments have tested depth and adaptability. But adversity also creates opportunity. Younger players step forward. Coaches refine tactics. Mismatches are exploited. Weaknesses addressed. The coming weeks could define everything. The trade deadline is not just a date. It is a crossroads. Solidify the core. Address gaps. Chase another run. Or pivot toward development. Players like Kuminga and Poole have flashed brilliance, but consistency under pressure remains the question. With Butler out, responsibility shifts. This is where growth happens. Interior presence remains a priority. Rebounding, paint protection, screen setting, second chances. These elements impact spacing, tempo, and transition defense. A true big man changes how opponents prepare. It restores a traditional balance that once defined championship Warriors basketball. Three-point shooting remains the identity. Curry stretches defenses beyond imagination. Klay punishes hesitation. But sustainability demands discipline. High-variance offense must be paired with intelligent decision-making. Shot selection. Timing. Trust. Matchups loom large. Playoff seeding. First-round opponents. History has shown that the right matchup can unlock unexpected runs. But ignoring roster gaps risks limiting ceiling. Strategic trades, even small ones, can create outsized impact.